Hi, and welcome back to Between the Benches, your go-to place for all hockey news. So, NHL's getting started today. Lots of fun matchups coming on, and I thought I'd do a ranking of every single division and how I think they're going to play out. These are just my fun predictions. No one really knows which way this whole year is going to go. It's going to be a bit weird, especially with COVID. So I just thought, why not? I'll throw my name in and see what we can get. So we're going to be starting with the Canadian division, the all-new North division. I got my Toronto Retinas jersey on, or Aretinas. And yeah, so basically this is the playoff line. So any team that finishes below this obviously misses the playoffs, and then who I think going to finish. So starting off at number 7. This might shock a couple people, but you know what? I think you got to be a little bit brave. And just going off of what I watched last year, all year long, there was lots of good hockey. So I'm sure going to get a lot of heat for this. But the worst team in all of Canada, I have finishing dead last. We got the Montreal Canadiens. Again, I know I'm going to get a lot of heat, especially for who I'm going to be putting ahead of them. But just, they had, 8 regulation wins last year. Terrible showing. I really don't like the additions they made. Toffoli had a great going with Vancouver, but God knows if he's going to repeat that. Josh Anderson had 1 goal last year in 23 games. So, I'm really not impressed with the signings Montreal has made. I don't see them getting any better. In the division that they're in, they're going to get a lot of hell. So, number 7 for Montreal. I know that's a bit off the rocker, but close to second last. However, very close to the bottom with them. Ottawa, obviously. The Senators, they're a rebuilding young team, but I really like the direction they're going in. I don't like the Matt Murray signing. I think he got a bit overpaid, especially with that glove hand of his. However, Brady Tkachuk's fantastic. Thomas Chabot's fantastic. Everyone they got is just, 10 out of 10. Really good young guys. Adding Dadonov to that too, you really can't go wrong with that. I think they're going to be a bit more shocking. They're going to be a mean, strong team. Their coach is really good with, getting the guys going like that. And I think it's going to be an extremely exciting matchup that people are going to watch. Now, here comes the hard part for number 5. Because Montreal at 7, I think that's an easy pick. Ottawa at 6, those are easy. But who is the last Canadian team to not make the playoffs? Because Calgary made it last year. Vancouver made a really good run. Edmonton was the best team in the Pacific, even though they did have a bit of a fall off. And Winnipeg had a good run. And every team's gotten better in some degree. So it's kind of like picking, out of 3 kids, which one you don't want. It's a really tough choice. I really like everything that every team has going for them. But, just like the league, not everyone's going to be making the playoffs. And I think a decision needs to be made. And I'm going to say that as much as this breaks my heart, because I love the city and I love the province that they're from, Winnipeg, I have as the last Canadian team to not make the playoffs. That was a really tough decision because Winnipeg's really good and they got Stastny back, who plays great with Patrick Laine, but losing Spezza on waivers sucked. They don't have that good defenseman. They didn't get any depth there. I don't see it getting any better. Hellebuck performed out of his mind last season. He's going to have to do that again just to make sure they get to the playoffs. I don't see a repeat of that as well. There's just a lot wrong with Winnipeg rather than right. They have Scheifele, who's still good. They got Wheeler, who's still good, but everything else around them isn't. And they just lost Roslovic. He's not reporting to camp. So I have him. I have them just missing the playoffs. I think they're going to be extremely close to 4th place, however. I don't think they're going to be sitting out too long. So, who's coming in at number 4? Well, that's an easy decision, I think. I think some people may disagree with me here, but this is, I liked a lot of additions they made. However, I don't think it's going to be enough. So, number 4, we got the Calgary Flames. This is a bit controversial as well. Calgary added a lot during this offseason. They lost Brody, however. That's a big piece to lose. They added Tanev, but they lost Hamonic, which is kind of a 1-for-1. They added a lot of good depth pieces, and obviously they got Markstrom. But I don't think goaltending was their problem last year. I don't think it's going to be a problem this year. They're still a playoff team, but Calgary notoriously struggles with interdivision matches. and I just don't think there's enough there to really put them over the top, especially if you look at some of the wonky lines that Jeff Ward's been doing. I just don't like their odds, to be honest. But, you never know. Calgary's always just a good team, and so I'm sure they'll make it, but they always go through this little rough patch, and I think this year is going to be a bit different, and it'll just kind of continue the entire way. Every game's a 4-point game, right? So, it's a bit hard to say. Coming in at number 3. Now, this is also going to be a bit controversial, especially with the year they had, but I think it's definitely going to be a bit different. The Edmonton Oilers. I mean, fantastic team. They added good guys for cheap too. Cahoon, Puljujärvi, Barry. Dog doesn't like the decision either, I guess, to put Edmonton third. But, I just think losing Clefbaum is huge. And obviously Barry's just as good as Clefbaum offensively, but definitely not defensively. I think the system that Tippett had that they were running was really good. However, I think it's going to take a bit of a step back, and everyone's kind of more aware of it now. And their goaltending is very shaky with Koskinen and Mike Smith. So I think they're going to have a good run of things, but when you're playing the same team, 8 times, Calgary they're going to play 9 times. I don't think that they're going to do as good as they did last year. I think last year was a bit of a peak for them, and they're going to kind of hit this middle part. Any team with McDavid and Draisaitl should be finishing top 3 anyway, so you can't get too mad. Coming in at number 2, the beautiful Rainy City. A bit of a spoiler there already, but Vancouver. I really like the additions Vancouver made. I think they're going to be a better team this year. A lot of people are going to be upset that they lost Markstrom and they signed Holtby. Holtby's a great goalie, and yeah, he's not what he's used to be, but he will show the ropes to Demko. I think Demko will learn a lot playing with Holtby. I think it'll be a great duo. Adding Nate Schmidt for, a 3rd-round pick, unbelievable to me, especially now that they added Hamonic. Their D-core looks strong as ever. They got Niles Hoglander in the lineup. They're going to be young. They're going to be fast. They're going to be hungry. And with all the talk of everybody leaving, they want to prove those doubters wrong. And I think that Vancouver, out of any team, can do that. So obviously, who I have finishing first, the Toronto Maple Leafs. That, a lot of people are down on the Leafs, and for good reason. Every year they lose in the first round. Their stars aren't performing like they should. They got all these old guys. But this team, was it 2 seasons ago, had over 100 points? And all they did was add more depth. Now, this isn't Stanley Cup odds. This is just regular season. And when you have 2 guys who could probably score 50 in a season with Tavares and Matthews, Nylander, who's a 30-goal scorer. Last year he scored 30 goals in a shortened season. Mitch Marner, who's one of the best playmakers. Morgan Riley, the best offensive defenseman in the league right now. I mean, yeah, I don't think they have a team built to do a long run. I think there is a bit of a culture issue. Again, I'm not in the dressing room. I don't know. However, Toronto is still a wagon. They got a lot to prove, and I think they're going to finish first. The question is for them, what do you do afterwards? Everyone knows you're these world beaters, but, what can you do with that after the regular season? What can we see in the postseason? I think all Leaf fans want to see Toronto in the second round. And to be honest, that goes for a lot of these Canadian teams. Vancouver made it the farthest but lost to Vegas last year. Edmonton got knocked out before. Calgary hasn't gone past the second round in a long time. Winnipeg struggled. Ottawa had that great run in 2017, and I think anyone in Canada was an Ottawa Senators fan for that run. And Montreal, last Canadian team to win a cup. But it's been a very long time. So we're just kind of wondering, where are these guys going to finish? And can Canada make the run past the second round? Hopefully to the final. That'd be fantastic to see. Anyways, these are my predictions, guys. Let me know in the comments how off base I am with some of these and how much you hate them. And I'll talk to you guys again soon.